this is enough lighting, because I'm not showing a comic book this time. Hey guys, it's Dan. Time for another book review, and this time I'm reviewing Nella Larsen's Passing. To be quite honest with you, I had never heard of Nella Larsen. She is a writer from the Harlem Renaissance. This book was copyrighted in 1929. And I had sought this book out because I had read An Accident of Color, which had to do with the early civil rights movement that started way back during the Civil War. Like, actually, may have happened before the Civil War. So yeah, that was an interesting book. I didn't do a review of it, but I think I did do a book mention video about it. So if you want to, seek out that book to learn more, go ahead and check that out. While I was kind of researching about this author and this book, I found out that this book is going to become, or it is a film. I don't know which stage it's in right now. I went to check out the IMDb, and it's supposed to be released sometime in 2020 or 2021, and it's starring Ruth Negga, who was in Preacher, AMC's Preacher, if you have not seen Preacher. So I cannot wait to see this film. Okay, now let's get on with this novella. I'm going to call this a novella because it was only 122 pages, and 114 of those pages were the story. The other pages were slang, definitions, so you kind of understood the story a little bit better. Because this does take place in the 1920s. It has to do with, it's in New York City, and it has to do with the rise of the black middle class, and just like the whole concept of passing. If you're not familiar with the term passing, passing is like if someone who is African American or black, but they have a really, really light, low melanin, so they look almost white or Caucasian, and they can pass. Now, there are two main characters. There is Irene Redfield and Claire Kendry. And these two, Irene Redfield just happens to be at a restaurant. She's just, doing her own thing. And she runs into Claire Kendry, who is an old childhood friend, and she doesn't recognize her at first because it's been so many years since they've seen each other. And this is where the whole thing, the whole concept of passing. Now, you see, Irene Redfield, she only uses passing to, go to, fancy restaurants or to get good seats in theaters and stuff like that. But she's married to an African American, while Claire Kendry, on the other hand, is totally passing. She's married to a white man who does not know her racial background. One of the things that I found really interesting regarding the whole concept of passing was a quote from page 56. I want to read this quote to you guys because I think it summarizes the book really, really well and the main idea behind it. Because it's such a short book, I feel like I can just read this one quote. Okay, she said, "It's funny about passing. We disapprove of it and at the same time condone it. It excites our contempt, and yet we rather admire it. We shy away from it with an odd kind of revulsion, but we protect it. Instinct of the race to survive and expand." I thought that was kind of interesting, that her thoughts on passing, and I don't know if the author herself passed at times. Maybe she was a casual passer who went for restaurants and stuff like that. I do know that she only wrote 2 books. She wrote this one and one prior. First off, I want to go back to her parentage. Her mother was from Denmark, and her father was from a Danish colony, but he was black. And she was kind of light-skinned, but still kind of tannish, if you understand what I mean. So she could say she was someone from the Mediterranean or Southern Europe. So, and another interesting thing I found out about this author, which is kind of sad to hear, was that she only wrote these 2 books, and then she went on to become a nurse for the rest of her life. So I don't know if she gave up on her dream of writing and just decided nursing was her thing. I don't know. And I have to admit, I'm kind of ignorant about the whole Harlem Renaissance. Like, I knew somewhat, like, related to art-wise, but when it came to writers, because there's a number of writers who are mentioned regarding the Harlem Renaissance that I just don't know if they were real people that she knew and kind of threw them into this book, because I know sometimes writers do that. They'll take real people they know and kind of incorporate them into books. But I did find this kind of interesting because this Claire Kendry character, she comes into her life unexpectedly, and she kind of forces her way into her life. Like, she's kind of like, and she tells her about her husband and how her husband doesn't know her background, doesn't know that she's African American. He just thinks she's a white girl, and Irene's kind of, she finds her to be annoying, and she feels like she's moving too far into her life, like she's kind of flirting with her husband and trying to force her way into her social network that she has going on in Harlem, and she really finds her annoying, and she kind of makes up the excuse that she's afraid that her husband, Mr. Kendry, is going to find out that, you know, and divorce her and all that, and it turns into this whole drama thing towards the end. And I do have to say, I thought the ending was kind of strange too. It was kind of weird, and I wasn't really 100% sure what exactly happened. Like, I'm not going to spoil it, but I found the ending to be kind of muddled, and I wasn't 100% sure what exactly happened, and it just kind of ended like that was it. So with all that being said, I gave this a 3 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. I think it's an okay example if you're interested in learning about the rise of the black middle class. There are a couple of cool things going on in here, like the slang. You're definitely going to have to keep the back definitions in hand, because there were a couple times like they said some kind of slang phrase and I just didn't know what they meant. Because, you know, this is like 100 years ago that this slang was going on. So yeah, it is worth checking out if you guys want to like learn a little more about what it's like to pass and the whole like fear and all that behind passing. I would definitely recommend this book. It's interesting in that regard. Of course, as always, for those of you in the U.S., I will have a link to Amazon if you would like to pick up a copy of this for yourselves. I'm not sure I'm going to continue on with the international links. I feel like Book Depository kind of did me wrong. Like, they never transferred the earnings I earned through their website, and they went ahead and did a new server for their website now, and they're acting like I never earned anything. So I'm kind of butthurt about that. I'm really, you know, it's not cool, because I earned a certain amount of money, and they're just neglecting it. They're just like, oh, you didn't earn anything with us, even though I had like a certain amount like in my account. And yeah. Of course, as always, I will have a coffee link down below if you don't mind donating $1 or $2. Every little bit helps out. I appreciate all the people that have been buying books and donating to my coffee link. Every little bit helps out, as I'm not getting AdSense. I have to say that another reason about the international link, I don't have too many subscribers who are international, so that might be another strong reason for me to just not bother with the international links. I don't want you guys to think I don't appreciate you guys watching, but, you know, there aren't too many of you who are subscribed to my channel. And I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to stop watching because I'm not doing the international links anymore. I think I'm going to definitely not do the international links. But yeah, if you came here looking for book reviews and book recommendations, please hit that subscriber button, and while you're there, hit that notification bell. And I think I'm going to make a conscious decision to try to read more books by black authors instead of just reading them on Black History Month. So yeah. That's all I got for you guys. Hopefully this movie will be out soon so we can go check that out. Ruth Negga is really good actress. I liked her in Preacher, And if you have not seen Preacher and you're a comic book fan, definitely go check out AMC's Preacher. Really good show. Till next time, guys, this has been Dan. Be good to each other.